In the Pokemon world, pretty much anything can be a Pokemon. From keys to whipped cream to a literal fetus, it's all over the place. But a good chunk of them are based on animals from our world. And there's so many cool animals that I just wish were Pokemon already. Take the sea rabbit, for example. It's actually called a Girana parva, but that's nowhere near as catchy as sea rabbit. Just take a look at it. It already looks like a Pokemon. I love the little antenna things it has. They look like little bunny ears. It's a squishy aquatic snail thing, and apparently they're poisonous. And they come in all sorts of different colors, so maybe they could even have variants like some Pokemon do. I don't know why they haven't been made into a Pokemon yet. They live off of the coast of Japan, so you would think they would have used the idea by now. I mean, these things would be so cool to have in game. Who wouldn't want one? These guys are really small, being able to fit on a person's fingertip. And like I mentioned before, these things are poisonous, so don't think they can get picked on easily. They also eat toxic sea sponges and absorb their toxins to use as their own defense mechanism. That straight up sounds like something from Pokemon. I think a fitting type for them would be water poison, since they do reside in the ocean and, you know, they're kind of poisonous. But they could easily spin the concept around and maybe add some other elements to it. I can easily see this thing being added to the roster of squishy creatures, right behind Pyukumuku, Snom, and Pincurchin. A capybara Pokemon is long overdue. We need this coconut dog in our party. Capybaras are the largest living rodents, and they're extremely social animals. They're just straight up friends with everyone and everything. And I feel like that type of nature is perfect in the Pokemon world. Some capybaras just hang out with alligators. How do they do that? Everyone loves these guys, so it's genuinely such a surprise they haven't been made into a Pokemon yet. These little guys, despite their stubby little legs, are great swimmers, and they're able to hold their breath for up to 5 minutes. If they do ever need to engage in a fight though, they have a pretty mean bite. I just think a capybara would be adored by all. Because of their semi-aquatic lifestyle, I think it would make sense for them to be part water type, and also part normal type, since these guys are pretty normal all things considered. They're just chill. Maybe they could give the capybara a really chill looking design, something that's nonchalant, and maybe it has a coconut theme or something to go with its nickname. They could also just hang up in trees like a coconut would. What if it had like a little shell that's a coconut? Wouldn't that be cute? They also tend to hang out in groups, which can range from all the way up to 100 capybaras. It's insane. And what's even more insane is that you're not subscribed. Go subscribe right now, please. Thank you. Anyways, I would really love to see a snail Pokemon. Now, wait. I know Magcargo is a snail, but it doesn't have the distinct snail eyes that snails have. I think they look funny. I just want to see it on a Pokemon. Plus, Magcargo just might be a little on fire. Just a little bit. And it also doesn't do snail activities like hide in its shell and stuff. It's a fraud. Maybe they could do a psychic snail or something. If they wanted to take a spookier route though, they could do a snail that's infected by a parasite. A leprechaun is a parasitic flatworm that enters snails after being eaten, and the snail turns into a zombie snail, with its one goal being to be eaten by a bird and continue the life cycle to infect another snail. I won't show any pictures because it kind of weirds me out, but the infected snail has like colorful tentacle eyes. Here's a picture of it being depicted in Chainsaw Man. It looks so cool, doesn't it? Albeit a bit morbid, but cool. I want a psychedelic snail Pokemon just like that. All the crazy colors, psychic abilities, it would just be so sick. It reminds me of Paris and Parasect because they're also infected by a parasite. I also think it would be pretty neat if the snail Pokemon had 2 split evolutions. One being the snail happy and healthy, and the other having a parasite with psychic powers or something. But if not, I'm cool with just a traditional snail. With the snail eyes, it needs to have the snail eyes. It's important to me. A raccoon Pokemon seems like it should have been made a long time ago, but it just hasn't happened yet for whatever reason. I think a trash panda Pokemon would be really cute. Maybe it could have like a little bag of trash it carries around or something. Or maybe it uses the trash it collects as like armor or something. There's so much potential here. I guess the closest thing we have to a raccoon Pokemon is Zigzagoon. But even then, where's the trash? It's more like a ferret, if anything. And when it evolves, it completely drops the raccoon motif. Like, come on, you had the right start. What happened? Also, I think Linoon is such a downgrade from Zigzagoon. It was so cute and cool at the same time, and they took away all of its personality. What is this? And now it has these beady blue eyes staring into my soul. Anyways, I think a raccoon Pokemon should be dark and steel type. Raccoons are nocturnal, so I would imagine they'd use the darkness to their advantage. And steel because I imagine one using like a trash lid as a shield or something. I just think that would be kind of funny. If we ever do get a raccoon Pokemon, I think it could be friends with like a blue jay or something. Whoa! Dude, Rigby. Ugh. Mordecai, don't worry. I believe it was an accident. You know who else was an accident? My mom! Get back to work or you're fired! I've seen this before. Okay, that's enough. A Komodo dragon Pokemon is something I need. These guys are so cool. And before you say Komodo, no. He doesn't count as one. You're telling me this is supposed to be this? No way. I want a tubby four-legged lizard who frolics around in his stubby. Don't get me wrong, Komodo is cool, but it just doesn't look like a Komodo dragon. Apparently a Komodo dragon's venom is so bad it can melt away human skin. What? I don't know about you guys, but a poison dragon Komodo dragon Pokemon sounds sick. I can't get over how funny these things look. They always look so clueless, but they're extremely dangerous. I was just looking for pictures of them and I just see one eating another one. What the hell, guys? Stop. Don't do that. That's not nice. What you're doing is not nice. I'd imagine they'd just be a four-legged dragonite, like a little derpy face, but they're like stubby. They also have these really long tongues, which could make for a really cool design element. I want them now. Now. We haven't really had that many gecko Pokemon. The only one we really have is the Trico line, but we haven't had any others since, which is a shame because these little guys are so cute. It would be so cool to see them in a future game because just look at them. They're adorable. I think I just want a small quadruped gecko Pokemon this time because Sceptile already has the cool gecko covered. I don't know why, but I just envisioned one having like little bug wings or fairy wings. They're so small and adorable, I just think it would fit. Kiwis are insanely cute animals. They share a name with a fruit, which is adorable. They're not able to fly due to their fat little bodies, and to be honest, I wasn't even sure if they had wings to begin with because almost every photo I see of them is just a ball with feet and a beak. It looks so funny. They have one of the most unique beaks out of all birds because they have their nostrils located near the tip, allowing them to smell prey since they can't see that well because of their small eyes. They're just so cute. They're like a mole and a bird combined into one. Kiwis need to be Pokemon. It's just too perfect. I could easily see this being a starter Pokemon, probably grass type. They also lay eggs the same size as their bodies, so they already have the nonsense of Pokemon eggs covered. The duo might look similar to a kiwi, but it's not the same. They have two heads and long necks. I want a stubby ball bird. Oh my god. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but a kiwi Pokemon based on not only the bird, but the fruit at the same time? That's perfect! And it's a grass type starter Pokemon? This thing just writes itself. It's so good. Please, I need this to become real one day. Maybe you could spit out kiwi seeds as a defense mechanism. This is just too good of an idea. I love this. They could be a grass ground type because they burrow into the ground to make their nest. And maybe they like root into the ground to get nutrients and stuff. I need fruit bird, kiwi bird now. Fruit bird. Honey badgers are way cooler than I thought they were. Apparently they're known for fighting any animals larger than them. I didn't know they were like that. They don't care how tough an opponent they face. They fight anyway and they give it their all. And I respect that. They have really tough skin, which means they can survive being spiked by porcupine spines, getting mauled by literal lions, being cut up by a machete, being stung by hordes of bees. They even fight super venomous snakes and win. But on the off chance that it gets bit, it'll just wake up the next day like nothing happened. And I'm telling you, this thing does not go down without a fight. If it gets bitten, it bites back. This is the King Von of the animal kingdom. It can regularly take down animals bigger than it and win. And they know how to use tools. I kind of want to give one a sword just to see what it does. I think it'll start training with it or something. They also have powerful claws, and its teeth are strong enough to crack a tortoise shell. That's genuinely insane. If we ever get a honey badger Pokemon, I need this thing to have an insane attack stat. And don't say Typhlosion's a honey badger because he's not a honey badger. Honey badgers are small and fierce. Typhlosion is huge, tough looking, and uses fire. Honey badgers are supposed to be small, but throw hands anyway. I need that type of energy in my Pokemon team. Mantis shrimps are one of the coolest looking animals ever. Just look at how colorful they are. It doesn't even look real. And these things aren't something to sneeze at. They pack a punch, quite literally. Mantis shrimps are very strong. Like, it's genuinely insane. They don't bite. They straight up punch things. It swings its club-like appendage at speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, which is the equivalent of a .22 caliber bullet. I don't care what kind of bullet it is. If you're being compared to any of them, that's horrifying. These things are so strong, in fact, that people don't recommend keeping them as a pet because of the small risk that a large enough mantis shrimp could actually break right through the glass, acrylic, or its enclosure. With all of that into consideration, I would be so happy if we got a mantis shrimp Pokemon. These things would fit right into the Pokemon world. The power it possesses already sounds like something straight out of Pokemon. I think it goes without saying that it would be a water fighting type, but again, they could do some really cool twists with it. Maybe a psychic fighting type because those colors look insane. Alex Matrix suggested I talk about a Casaur. Kasori. I'm gonna go with Kasori, which, not gonna lie, I thought it was a utensil at first, but apparently they're a force to be reckoned with. These birds have been known to kill people. Their kicks are powerful enough to break bones. Like, first we have bullet punches, now we have Sanji birds. What does this world come to? They're not overly aggressive, and their attacks are rare, but just knowing that this thing could break my bones if it really wanted to is scary. This thing, if turned into a Pokemon, could give Hitmonlee a run for its money. A kickboxing bird Pokemon just sounds sick though. Imagine it flying super high up, then coming down with a full force kick. That's sick. Here we got another bird. Shoebills are a very weird animal. They're known for being very docile with humans and won't threaten them. Physically anyway. Its stare looks so threatening, and the sound that it makes doesn't help at all. Listen to this. They're pretty big for a bird too, which doesn't help me feel any safer around them. Thankfully though, like I said, this bird is known to be gentle around humans. They even bow and shake its head as a greeting. How polite of them. I think these things would be really cool to have as a legendary or mythical Pokemon. Like, it just stares from you at a distance in the dark or something, you blink and it vanishes. They will have to add some sort of element to it though, since at the end of the day, it is just a normal bird. Granted, an intimidating one, but still. Maybe an ice type for its cold stare, or maybe a ghost typing would fit its scary demeanor. Who knows? A platypus seems like something that should already exist. Psyduck is apparently, according to Bulbapedia, a platypus, but I always just thought it was a duck. I feel like in order to be considered a platypus, you need the beaver tail and the bill, and maybe a little fedora. I feel like if you just have one or the other, you're a duck or you're a beaver. You're not a platypus. Without knowing what a platypus is, it already sounds like a Pokemon. It doesn't even sound like a real creature. Kind of like a jackalope. It's a weird combination of creatures. Someone made this super cool fake mon a long time ago, and it actually got featured as a starter in Temtem. I'm not sure what they could do to make a platypus Pokemon stand out. I think maybe they could make like a platypus boat Pokemon maybe, and when it evolves, it becomes a pirate ship. I mostly just want a pirate Pokemon though, so maybe you can just scrap the ship idea entirely. Either way, a platypus in general would just be super cool. Okay, I know a krill Pokemon might sound a bit weird and maybe a little lame, but I think they could do something similar to Wishy-Washy. Krill move in schools, so I would really like to have a menacing Pokemon made up of a ton of super small krill, but instead of running away when times get tough like Wishy-Washy does, I want it to be an actual evolution. Maybe they could come together to form one big Kraken, the thing people in the ocean fear the most. Or something else that could be funny maybe is they form a literal school bus, since the groups of them are called schools. The Kraken idea seems way cooler though.